So, are you feeling stuck? Stuck in a job you don't exactly love, dreaming about financial freedom, but you're just paralyzed by the fear of taking a big risk? Well, what if I told you there's a playbook, a proven system from a legendary investor that completely flips the script on what it means to be an entrepreneur? Today, we are diving into Monish Pabrai's Dando strategy for building wealth with almost zero risk. Seriously, this could change everything.
And look, this isn't just you feeling this way. It's a statistical fact. A staggering 85% of people all over the world feel disengaged or just plain unhappy at work. That sinking feeling you get on a Sunday night? Yeah, you're not alone. It's practically a global epidemic of untapped potential.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What if you could actually engineer your escape plan, build a profitable business, get that financial freedom you're dreaming of, all without betting the farm and risking everything you have? I know, it sounds a little too good to be true, but it's the entire foundation of the Dando playbook.
All right, so let's meet the mind behind this whole idea, Monish Pabrai. He's a self-made, multi-millionaire investor, and he completely challenges that classic image of the entrepreneur as some kind of reckless, high-flying gambler. Pabrai's big insight is that the most successful entrepreneurs, they're not risk-takers. Not at all. They are masters of eliminating risk.
And he boils this whole philosophy down to one powerful word: Dando. It's a Gujarati term for business, but it's so much more than that. It's a framework, a lens for looking at the world. It's all about finding those opportunities where, as he famously says, heads I win, tails I don't lose much. This isn't just a business tip, it's a strategy for life.
Okay, so this Dando thing sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Well, the very first play in the playbook is going to sound wrong. It goes against pretty much everything we're taught about business. The advice is simple. Don't innovate. Clone.
Think about it. The usual advice, to invent something totally new, is like walking a tightrope with no safety net. Pabrai's model is about building on solid ground. See, by cloning a business that's already successful, you get rid of the single biggest risk there is, wondering if people will actually want what you're selling. You already know they do. Your only job is to do it a little bit better, or a little cheaper, or just somewhere new.
And this isn't some fringe theory. We're talking about the blueprint some of the biggest companies in the world used. I mean, Microsoft didn't invent the spreadsheet. They cloned Lotus 123 to make Excel. Sam Walton traveled the country studying other discount stores before he built Walmart. And Howard Schultz? He just brought the Italian coffee shop vibe to America with Starbucks. These guys are titans, and at their core, they were all brilliant cloners.
Okay, so let's say you found a great idea to clone. Awesome. Now for the really tricky part, how do you find the time and the money to actually build it without, quitting your job and going broke? This is where play number 2 comes in. It's called the 9-month launchpad.
Let's just break down your week for a second. We all get 168 hours. Once you take out sleeping, working, and all the boring stuff like chores, you are left with a pretty big chunk of free time. We're talking 30, maybe 40 hours a week for most people. That's not just chill time. That is the raw material you're going to use to build your future.
And this is the exact 4-step game plan that makes it all work. Step 1, and this is crucial, you keep your job. Let your employer pay for your new venture. Step 2, you want to perform at your job just above the level where they'd fire you. Do good work, but save your A game, your best energy for your own thing. Step 3, all that free time we just talked about, that becomes startup time. Every hour you'd spend scrolling, you're now investing in your own freedom. And step 4, the best part, you only quit when your side business is already making a profit. That is the definition of a low-risk launch.
I can hear it already, but I don't have any money to start a business. Pabrai's answer: you don't need it. Your creativity becomes your capital. Just look at Richard Branson. He wanted to start an airline, Virgin Atlantic, with literally no money. So what did he do? He convinced Boeing to lease him a plane, sold on the tickets before his first flight ever took off, and then used that cash to pay for the fuel. That is the Dando mindset right there.
So you've done it. You've launched your business. It's profitable. You've quit the 9-to-5. But guess what? The game's not over. In fact, this is where the real wealth building begins. The final play is all about turning that income into life-changing generational wealth by using what Einstein apparently called the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest.
And there's this super simple mental trick to understand just how powerful this is. It's called the rule of 72. You just take the number 72, divide it by the interest rate you expect to get, and that tells you how many years it'll take for your money to double. So at a 10% return, your money doubles every 7.2 years. At 15%, it's less than 5 years. This is the engine that just quietly builds massive wealth over time.
And if you want an example that will absolutely blow your mind, let's talk about the sale of Manhattan back in 1623. It was sold for about 23 bucks. Everyone calls it the worst deal in history, right? But what if the sellers had just invested that $23 and gotten a pretty normal 7% return each year? Today, that tiny investment would be worth an unbelievable $23 trillion. That's more than all the real estate in Manhattan is worth today. That is the insane power of compounding.
So, when you boil all this down, what's the big takeaway? The Dando playbook, it's more than just a few business tactics. It's a whole new mental model for making decisions. It's a way of looking at the world, of seeing opportunities not as terrifying gambles, but as smart, calculated bets where the upside is huge and the downside is tiny.
It all comes down to asking yourself one simple but incredibly powerful question before you make any big move. Heads I win, tails I don't lose much. If the answer is yes, then you've found your Dando opportunity. So I want you to walk away from this thinking about one thing. What's the first low-risk, high-reward bet you can make on yourself?